Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night, which means we are closing out with Lubbock Cooper in the Pirate Fan Zone. One more reminder, Wednesdays are Lubbock High, Frenship, and Lubbock Cooper. Monday nights, Estacado Memorial and Liberty. Tuesday nights, Monterey and Coronado. I want to run through the schedule again because I've got something I want to unveil or announce here in a minute before we jump into the Pirates' great performance against Tascosa and their challenges ahead against Frenship this week. The schedule this week, no Thursday game as I mentioned. The HubCityPreps.com game of the week. These Lubbock Cooper Pirates at Frenship, 7 p.m. Friday at Tiger Stadium on 100.7 The Score and Double T 97.3. Let me double check here. The Pirate radio crew is Tommy Wood.
Yes, sir.
Taylor McMacken.
Yes, sir.
And some guy named Chuck Darden.
Chuck Darden, yeah, he's the kind of the outcast there, but yeah, they let him hang around.
One of my favorite people to listen to on the radio. I've told Chip this story. I came home from a game last year, and your game was still going on. I turned it on. My mother-in-law said, "Who is that?" I said, "That?" I said, "That's Chuck Darden." She went, "The coach?" I said, "Yeah, he's a coach and he's a broadcast guy." So,
oh yeah,
he knows his stuff.
He's multi-talented.
Yes, he is. I lost my train of thought there. Coronado goes to Abilene. Cooper plays 7 p.m. Friday at Shotwell Stadium on 96.9 The Bull. Lubbock High at San Angelo Lakeview, 7 p.m. at San Angelo Stadium. Monterey is at home at Lowry Field against Odessa High, 7 p.m. That is on 93.7 The Eagle. Estacado's at Sweetwater, Mustang Bowl, 7 p.m. Friday. This is a sneaky good game. A lot of your coaching friends. This may split the Darden family, and may have your Mrs. Darden across town here. She's going to, because Seminole plays Liberty Friday night. That's a big game. Joe Sexton's excited about it. He wanted to make sure people knew there's a game on Woodrow Road this week. So.
Oh yeah.
7
we'll see where her loyalty lies.
Maybe she can do half one game, half of the other. 7 p.m. Friday, Patriot Stadium. That is on 93.1 Young Country. Trinity Christian is down the road at Floydada at 7 p.m. Lubbock Christian's at home against Wellington at Mask Rider Capitol Field at 7 p.m. Let's see. A couple other games thrown in there. Plainview's out at Dumas at 7 p.m. Levelland's at home against Brownfield at 7 p.m. And in TAP's six-man, Kingdom Prep goes down to Abilene Christian at 7 p.m. I mentioned the HubCityPreps.com game of the week, Lubbock Cooper at Frenship. That game never gets old, but we're going to leave it on the shelf here for a second because we'll talk about a win against Tascosa that I thought was very important for you guys. I forgot to introduce my guest here again. We've got Matt Darden. In case you couldn't tell, this is not Chip Darden. This is the younger Darden, the younger, better-looking Darden.
Thank you. Finally somebody recognizes.
And Bobby Bleisch. Did I get it right?
Bleisch.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. We just practiced it, too. The Pirates' right guard on a big old offensive line that I'm going to guess played pretty well the other night against Tascosa because that defense coming in was nasty.
Yes, sir. We've been prepping them for quite a while. Crush Johnson is a Tech fan. I'm glad he's going there because he's impressive. But then
what a great, perfect name. Too.
Oh, 100%. And then, he gets a lot of the talk, but across the board, all four of those guys can play some football. One of our biggest advantages is the four we line up against every day in practice are as good as anybody in the state with Pop, Pat, Turnbow, and Jashawn. So we get as good a practice as anybody against a stellar defensive front every day. So
there's a lot of bells and whistles for both these teams. Frenship throws the ball, as you guys know it. They put up big video game numbers. You guys are putting up good offensive numbers. Talked to Jay, talked to Chip earlier today. This game's going to come down to the big dudes on both sides of the ball for both teams because there's some hefty young men on both sides of the ball in this game.
Yes, sir. They've got a talented D-line themselves. I'm going to forget the name, but number 21, he plays the boundary DN for him. He is a stellar player, and they've always got really good linebackers. So hopefully we've got a good plan for them because they're a talented football team. So,
Bobby, follow up on that, what Coach is talking about. The offensive line, you're going to be fired up anyway. You played a really good defensive line last week. This one may be even a little bit better. How much are you kind of enthusiastic about this one? Hold that up close so Mom and Dad can hear you.
I'm ready for it. Like Coach Darden said, they are very talented. They very disciplined with what they do. They like to slant a lot, and I don't know. We just been practicing it all week. Hopefully we come out and do what we're supposed to do. As long as we do what we're supposed to do, we should handle business.
So the guy you mentioned is Hudson Page. His dad, Josh Page, was an offensive lineman at Texas Tech back in the early maybe late Spike Dykes, early Mike Leach era. So he has an older son who was an offensive lineman, and then Hudson's the defensive lineman. Did Chuck ever kind of sit you two down and say, this is where I think you guys should play?
Oh, no, didn't quite get that, and I don't think me or Chip were ever quite as skilled as they were either, so just hoping we could fit in somewhere.
You probably knew where I was going with this, because Chuck claims that you could catch the ball and Chip couldn't. That's why Chip wound up as which one of you guys played defense more?
He played more than I did, but shoot, I don't know if they were ever throwing me the ball either. He's one of those extended blockers out there.
You're preaching to the choir. So that was back in the Keith Kitchens 3 yards in a cloud of dust days?
No, for me, Speedy Faith took over my freshman year, and then senior year it was Kyle Maxfield. So
pretty good couple of football names.
Not too bad. I got Keith in junior high though, and man, growing up with him too, so I knew his game pretty well too.
Lubbock Cooper has become like Shallow Water South, so that makes a lot of sense. Lubbock Cooper and Friendship, Friday night at Tiger Stadium in the HubCityPreps.com Game of the Week. I said I was going to announce this. We are doing a new feature on the high school fan zone each week. We name a boys player of the week and a girls player of the week. The girls player of the week was Lexi Allgood from Liberty Volleyball. I think Matt probably has gotten to know her. She's the one young gun for that team that's got a lot of older players. I could not decide on one boys player of the week. I'd lean towards players from a team that found a way to win, so they're both from Lubbock Cooper. One is Cade Gant, who had 10 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. I don't know how official these were, but I'm going to double check here. The other one is Blake Moore, defensive back for the Pirates, who had 11 tackles against Tascosa, coming up and helping up in run support, what you have to do against Tascosa. So, co-players of the week from the Pirates this week.
Both well deserved.
Yep, got Big Brother to talk about both of them today in a podcast. And all right, we're coming up on the first break in the Pirate Fan Zone. We got a lot to talk about because these guys are playing Friendship, and that's going to be a great matchup of two teams who do things differently, but both very well. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score. We'll be back in the Pirate Fan Zone after this break.
She knows the sport.
Breaking down Lubbock Cooper sports. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Pirate Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score. If you're watching on TV, to my far left is Matt Darden, offensive coordinator and offensive line coach.
Yes, sir.
Double duty. I know Chip was the offensive coordinator under Max.
Yes, sir.
Was he also offensive line, or?
I think he was quarterbacks. Actually,
Okay.
Yeah, he was. And, his last year as OC was my first year at Cooper. So
I asked him if he's taking credit for being the quarterback coach for Ryan this year.
he would love to.
Yep.
That's all Schulte. He ain't giving that up. Schulte was lucky enough to be Cubs coach and Ryan's coach. So
That's what they told me last week. Taylor Reed was on last week, and he was talking about that. He took some credit for Cub.
Oh, yeah.
He could take some credit for Sione.
He should.
And who was the other one? I can't remember who it was. But he made sure he got his piece of the pie.
Hey, well, Reed tries to take credit for Ryan playing linebacker, too, as a freshman. But, hey, when he was at Laura Bush, I'm the one that played him there.
There you go. Bobby, did you go to Laura Bush or Lubbock?
I went to Cooper Middle.
Okay, so did you play against Ryan and Laura Bush?
Yeah, I played against them both 7th and 8th grade year, and it was not fun for us.
Didn't turn out well?
No, they were close games. They came down to the wire, but both years we fell short.
Now, was Ryan a linebacker at that point, or had he moved to quarterback?
From what I was told, he was a linebacker. I don't really remember because I was on defense at the time, and we were so focused on Barrett Fallon that there was no point in looking at anybody else. He ran all over us.
And one of your teammates was in here a few weeks ago. This is a weird question, I know, but Liberty's having a really good season. Those are guys you probably grew up with and played with and against as well. Have you paid attention to what they're doing and kind of taken a little bit of pride in some friends who've moved down the road a little bit?
I've never really been close with any of the guys that ended up transferring except for a couple of them. and there's a couple I have been paying attention to, but besides looking at the score for the games, I haven't really looked into them that much.
I will say this, whatever they feed you guys in the Lubbock Cooper middle schools, there's some big dudes on both of those offensive lines.
Oh, yeah, there's more coming to both schools, too. So
I don't need that, but if whoever comes up with the dietitian plan for the big guys is earning their keep, because I'm sure coaches don't mind that.
Oh, yeah. We like going down and watching 7th and 8th grade and seeing some big boys, so yeah, it's good for us.
You're going to need those big boys this week.
Yes, sir.
They came through last week against a really good Tascosa defense. Now, as the offensive coordinator, I didn't mention this to Chip earlier today. You guys had to adjust a little bit. They got you to throw the ball a little bit more. I don't know if they took away the run or if that was the game plan, but Ryan was up to the task. What did he do well against Tascosa?
He's just always going to be consistent. He, from the pre-snap, post-snap reads and making good decisions, that's just his ball game. His efficiency stats are pretty unreal. That if he needs to throw it away, he's going to. If he needs to tuck and run, he will. But if the timing that him and his receivers have is pretty incredible. So that's really every game. But then where he's gotten so much better is sitting in the pocket when it's collapsing, letting tackles get the ends out wide and him stepping up and making throws. I think that's where his game has progressed so much, and it's made him just he's been an incredible player for 2 years, and now that's just elevate his game, which that's what the great players do. They get even better. So
he's obviously got some chemistry with Cade Gant.
Oh, yeah.
That's because you guys lost a great receiver in Michael Devers, but Cade has a different kind of receiver, but he stepped in and really made an impact in 3 games.
And it may be surprising to a lot of people, but not his coaches or his teammates. Just watching him play, he's one I had at Laura Bush as well. He's just been a spectacular athlete as long as I've known him. And then that's where him and, just like you said, the chemistry between him and Ryan is it's pretty special to watch. We get to see it every day in practice, so I like whenever Friday nights the rest of the area and state get to see it as well.
Yep. So Bobby, did you play much as a sophomore, or was last year when you kind of emerged?
So I started every game as a sophomore.
Okay.
It was definitely tough. I didn't play JV my freshman year. I was on the freshman team, so coming up,
that's eye-opening.
Yeah, playing Frenship was honestly it was incredible. It was heartbreaking at the same time, but it was incredible. The atmosphere is just insane at that stadium. Last year was not as good of a year for me as my sophomore year was. I just got in my own head during the summer and didn't do what I needed to do, so it was eye-opening for me. But
you were a teenage guy.
Yeah.
I can vouch that for me and Matt both, we were teenage guys once as well. There's some things you have to figure out.
Yeah, Bobby's had an incredible year though. His talent's obvious on the field, so him getting the mental side down has been pretty great to see.
Coming up on the second break in the Pirate Fan Zone, we'll come back and talk more Lubbock Cooper Friendship after this break on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock Cooper Athletics. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. We've got one more segment of the High School Fan Zone this week, and why not finish it talking in the Pirate Fan Zone about Lubbock Cooper and Friendship. We were talking during the break here about that game has just become such a big deal. There's great rivalries in Lubbock. Monterey Coronado, the history of Monterey Lubbock High. Estacado Friendship at one point was a great rivalry when they were both 4A, but at least, I don't know, maybe 10 years, at least the last 7 years since HubCityPreps.com has been around, this is the city rivalry. Now, as Matt said, Lubbock Cooper, they need to balance it out a little bit. Friendship's won 5 of the 6 games that I've covered. Until last year, though, the outcome was not decided until the final minutes, sometimes extra minutes. Probably, if not the best regular season game I've ever seen in 35 years doing this, it's in the conversation, was the 4 overtime game in 2019. Were you at Lubbock Cooper by then, or were you on the way?
I was still at Laura Bush Middle School, but had a role with the varsity, so I got to watch that heartbreak from the press box.
Bobby, were you in 6th grade, 7th grade?
Yeah, I was in 6th grade.
Were you at the game?
I don't remember.
You must not have been, because
I don't think so.
if you were
It'd be
there,
hard
you'd
to forget.
remember it. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
4 overtimes, just guys making plays everywhere. And Chip pointed this out today. Donovan Smith, Division I guy. Kobe McKenzie, Division I guy. Defensive end.
Kyler
Jordan, Division I guy. Nehemiah Martinez, Division I guy. Isaiah Johnson, Division I guy.
Yep.
There were some cats out there who could play football.
Yeah, I think Hocut, his
there.
boy went D1. So I mean, it was, the talent on the field was unreal.
And it's not just talent. It's not just coaching. It's not just players out there. It's the emotion, the energy. It's what high school football is meant to be. And the fact that there will be, if there's an empty seat there Friday night, I'll be shocked, because of all the game. The only time there hasn't been is the 2020 game when they moved you guys to Jones Stadium because of COVID. But when you walk out on you kind of talked about it, about your sophomore year. When you walk out on the field in these games, does it kind of feel like playoff game, or that kind of atmosphere?
Yeah, it definitely does for how it feels as a player. I think, at least with the crowd, I wouldn't say a playoff game, because most of our playoff games are, like last year was in El Paso, so
Yeah.
not many people can make it. But it is my sophomore year, when we ran out of the tunnel, I was stunned. Like I had to take a breath and look around. Like it was unreal how many people were there. And even last year, it's insane, because you never understand how many people were there until you're down on the field, and even then it looks like a lot more than it actually is.
I'm talking to one of your line mates earlier today, Blaze, Jordan. We talked about if these get, maybe not, it's going to get you ready for what you see in the playoffs in terms of competition, but for you guys in your district and Frenship in their district, it gets you guys ready for how intense that's going to be. Because one thing that Frenship and Lubbock Cooper share is teams love to beat you dudes. They love to beat you no matter what the sport is. Matt, from a coach's perspective, how cool is a game like this just 4 weeks into the season, knowing that, and counting the district race, but it gets your guys ready kind of mentally for what they're going to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Just how important it is to the kids, the fans, the region. It lets you basically practice the mental side of it. Like every game we play from now to mid-December, hopefully is going to be a physical battle. But there'll be some that there's not going to be a wild crowd. It's not going to be, high intensity is the wrong phrase, but it's just different. It's a different ball game. Just like Bobby said, when we're running out of the tunnel against some teams, you're not having to take it all in. But you go on a playoff run, you've got to hopefully practice that at some point, and this is a great opportunity for it. And it's a blessing to be a part of such an important rivalry, because beyond the players, coaches, fans, it's big for the area. So
yeah, this isn't a week where you have to coach intensity into your guys.
Right, yes sir. We have to calm them down a little bit.
Well, let me flip that around, Bobby. Coaches love these games too. They get into it. Have you seen the coaches be a little bit more fired up this week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been a statement at practice that it's got to be one of our best weeks. One thing that we go by for our practices are that it's always going to ramp up towards the end of the week, and feel like it's high intensity all week. Our coaches stress us out as much as possible during these weeks.
So that means Friday gets here and these guys can relax and just play football. Friday night, game of the week on HubCityPreps.com. Lubbock Cooper at Frenship on 100.7 The Score and 97 Double T 97.3 FM. We will talk to you next week in the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.